Axiata Group said it will book a 376.6 million ringgit write-off of related receivable assets after an arbitration tribunal dismissed its claims over taxes imposed by the Nepalese government on its Nepal-based subsidiary Ncell. The telco giant said the bilateral investment treaty arbitration tribunal at the International Centre for Settlement of Investment Disputes threw out the claims filed by Axiata Investments UK and Ncell. The dispute is in relation to the capital gains tax of $185 million it paid under protest to the Nepalese government in 2020 following Axiata UK's acquisition of an indirect 80% shareholding in Ncell. Axiata will book the write-off in its comprehensive income statement. The telco giant will also assess any other financial impact, including further asset impairment following the award. It said no cash flow impact is expected, though the award may have material impact on the group's consolidated net assets per share and the earnings per share for the financial year ending December 31st, 2023. Axiata's shares slumped 3.96% to close at RM2.67 for a market capitalization of 25.5 billion ringgit. Edelteq Holdings Group CEO cum Executive Director Chin Yong-kyong has denied the claims made by his former employer Mi Technovation, which accused him of breaching his employment contract and making false or misleading statements in the newly listed firm's prospectus. In a statement today, Chin said the allegations pertaining to his employment history are baseless and unwarranted. He said he had initially sought reinstatement but dropped his case after reconciliation efforts proved fruitless. He has instructed his lawyers to take appropriate action against the firm for its allegations, which he felt had defamed him. Mi Technovation had alleged that Chin, who was its COO cum general manager from July 2nd, 2018, deemed himself constructively dismissed and did not report for duty following a dispute over his scope of work, authority and responsibility. The company, which had ordered Chin to return to work, said there was no mutual termination of his employment contract, contradicting his insistence that he was constructively dismissed. Edelteq's shares were down 5.19% at 64 cents at the close, valuing the company at 340.8 million ringgit. Malaysia is looking to attract Microsoft Corp and Google in its drive to be a data hub and as it positions itself as a neutral supply chain base amid rising US-China tensions. In an interview with Bloomberg Television, Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said, "We are attracting as many as we can and slowly establishing ourselves as a data center hub." He said the country is seeing a lot of realignment of supply chain, looking at resiliency and security coming to this region amid simmering tensions between Washington and Beijing. According to MIDA, Malaysia attracted 71.4 billion ringgit in approved investments in the first quarter of this year, up 67% from a year earlier. The country's investment success this year includes attracting companies such as Tesla Inc. and Amazon Web Services. Zafrul said, "We are in the position of being neutral and being part of the critical supply chain. Malaysia has been a net beneficiary." Bermaz Auto says fourth quarter FY 2023 net profit grew 27.84% to 100.62 million ringgit as revenue rose mainly due to the final rush to register the balance unfulfilled back orders in February and March for the sales tax exemption incentives. Quarterly top line was 19.51% higher at 1.07 billion ringgit. Bermaz Auto declared a fourth interim dividend of 3.5 cents and a special dividend of 7.5 cents per share, payable on August 4th. This brings total dividends declared for FY 2023 to 22 cents per share, compared with 8.75 cents for FY 2022. Meanwhile, full-year net profit soared 95.82% to 303.74 million ringgit on higher sales volume and an improved gross margin for its Mazda domestic operations, which benefited from the appreciation of the ringgit against the yen. Full-year revenue jumped 52.7% to 3.55 billion ringgit. Shares in Bermaz Auto settled unchanged at 2 ringgit 23 cents. bringing the group a market value of 2.61 billion ringgit. Deputy Transport Minister Datuk Hasbi Habibullah said the Ministry of Transport welcomes the Sarawak government's proposal to establish its own boutique airline. Hasbi told the Dewan Rakyat that in relation to this, the MOT via Mavcom will examine and consider the proposal accordingly after a complete application has been submitted to the government. Touching on the airline operating approval process, he said new airlines are required to obtain an air service license from Mavcom and an air operator's certificate from the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia to run scheduled passenger and cargo flight services. In the process of approving the application for this license, the lawmakers said Mavcom will examine and consider, among others, the status and background of the applicant's financial plan, reasonableness of the business plan, ability and legitimacy of the management, and whether the entire operation application is realistic. Sarawak submitted a preliminary application in April for a proposed boutique airline, which will be operated by state-owned Hornbill Skyways.